Hello everyone, welcome to this shit show. Um, since I've finished all 3 of the Dragon Age games, and I've been really bored, so I decided to jump on an older trend and make a tier list of all these characters. I didn't make this. A lot of these characters in here I have no recollection of. So I wouldn't be putting all of them on here, just the ones I remember and are substantial in some way. So, yeah, let us begin. Is there even a question? Alistair is incredible. I adore him with every fibre of my being. I've been doing a second playthrough of Origins, and quite possibly loved him even more the second time around. He is just so good. And it is not often that I fall head over heels in love with a fictional character, but yeah. I mean, if you watch my Origins playthrough, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I probably will talk at some point in greater detail about why I love him so much, but who knows? Will I, won't I? No idea. Second, Anders. Yeah, I don't like Anders. I mean, in Awakening, he was so good. He was fucking hilarious. But in DA2, he's just not that. He's a completely different character. I mean, I guess they kind of explained away that difference in writing by saying, oh, it's justice. But even then, that just felt like a weird, slightly bullshit excuse. And yeah. Also, the shit he pulls in DA2, I'm like, yeah. No like you. I think that's the girl from Witch Hunt, but let's ignore her. Aveline. Aveline is fine, I guess. She doesn't really have a whole lot to her. At least, I didn't find that. Yeah, she's just not very interesting. Everyone on the internet's gonna attack me now, but yeah. I mean, it was kind of fun, like doing her mission where she had a crush on Donnick and then you had to help them get together, but even it just kind of felt a bit awkward. And yeah. I will put Aveline squarely in the C tier. Bethany. My Bethany looked quite different to this. Bethany was okay. I mean, I didn't really interact with her much past the first sort of third of the game, her being taken off to the circle and everything. Again, she just wasn't that interesting. I mean, I've sort of... I don't anticipate going back and replaying DA2 anytime soon, if ever. But... yeah. I'm gonna put her in the C tier as well, because she's just not that interesting. Like, sure, she's a person who's a mage, and she's nice, I guess. Blackwall / Tom Rainier. He went down in my estimation as Inquisition went on, honestly. Like, I liked him well enough to begin with, but he just kind of got worse, and then especially with like the reveal that he lied the whole time, I don't really love Blackwall all that much, honestly. Like, he doesn't... He's just kind of bland, other than that. So yeah, C tier for you. Who's that guy? I don't even know. Oh, Carver died in the first 10 minutes of DA2 for me, so I'm just gonna stick him in the bottom tier because I saw him for like 5 seconds. Cassandra. I do love Cassandra. I think she's really great. She had such a good personality, and her voice acting especially was phenomenal. Yeah, God, the scene where you catch her reading the smutty romance book, and then she's just like, ah, made my day, honestly. Yeah, I like Cassandra. Cassandra's great. A tier. Cole. Cole is probably one of the most interesting characters in Inquisition. Just the fact that he's a spirit and that you can influence his story, whether he becomes more human or stays a spirit. I chose to make him stay a spirit, because it sort of seemed like that was what he wanted more. But yeah, it's interesting the ways his story can go, and I really like the way he talks, the way he sort of can feel what other people are thinking. And he has some really, really, good lines, I think. So yeah. I mean, I didn't really take him on many places, but yeah, I do like Cole, so he goes squarely in the B tier. Mr. Cullen Stanton Rutherford. I love Cullen. Cullen is great. He is, yeah. I thought his romance was so good. It was so well paced, and it was so nice to see him get a redemption arc across the 3 games of him sort of starting out being quite young and naive, and then going to quite a dark place, and eventually finding his way out of it with the help of the Inquisitor. I thought that was so just heartwarming to watch, and it was really nice that he got his happy ending with Aveline in the end. So yeah, I don't love him quite as much as I do other characters, but I don't imagine I'll ever romance anyone else in Inquisition if I play as a female Inquisitor, so yeah. Me too. Who's that guy? I don't know. Dog. Who's a good dog? Mr. Dorian Purvis. I mean, yeah. Dorian is fucking incredible. I love him so much. His story in Inquisition, I mean, I spoke about this as it was happening, but his story in Inquisition really resonated with me, and he's really funny, really witty, total smartass, and I love him. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Dorian, honestly. I just really hope we see him in DA4 because he's so good. Alright. Fenris. Fenris was the best character in DA2. Yeah. It was interesting seeing the different sides of Tevinter across the 2 games between Dorian and Fenris. Yeah, Fenris is really good. He is a bit of a Zuko type. Kind of slightly traumatized, angsty, brooding guy. But if you do befriend him, if you choose to go that route, then his romance and friendship is very, very sweet. And it's nice to sort of see him lighten up a little bit. And seeing how he comes to care for Hawke in the end. Yeah, it's really good. I really like Fenris. I mean, he's not as good as other characters, obviously, but he is one of the best things about DA2, I think, and for that reason, I am putting him in the A tier. I don't even know who these people are. Iron Bull. I fucking love Bull. while he did make comments at times that had me going, ugh, ace panic, he was really funny, had great chemistry with Dorian and with the Inquisitor and other characters, and with Krem especially. I loved his and Krem's relationship. It was so wholesome. And seeing him be such a dad was so good. But yeah. While I didn't have any love for the Kunari prior to Inquisition, Bull is just... yeah, he's so good. Such a great sense of humour, and... yeah. Great character. Isabella. I did not really care for Isabella, honestly. When she abandoned me at the end of Act 2, I was kind of... didn't really care. I was indifferent. Yeah, just something about her personality just rubbed me really the wrong way. And so... and her voice acting too, I thought was... I feel like her voice didn't really match her very well. But that's just me. That said, I think she's a decent enough character. I just didn't really care for her, so I'm gonna put her in the theatre. Josephine Montillier. I love Josephine. I mean, at the start of Inquisition, she kind of seemed a bit boring with not much to her, but as I got to know her and completed her quests, and she turned out she is so sweet. Like, even if you don't romance her, she is such a great friend, and yeah, it was so nice to have her around, and especially sort of her chemistry with the rest of the Inquisition, like the other Inquisition characters, members, whatever they... fuck me, I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I really liked Josephine. I thought she was really great, so I'm gonna put her in the A tier. Who's that? I can't see. Oh, that's Justice. I recruited Justice quite late into Awakening, so I didn't really get a chance to speak with him much. I mean, I think it's an interesting enough concept, a spirit possessing a body, but I think they did it much better in Inquisition with Cole. So yeah, honestly, I don't really remember much about Justice, except that he possesses the body of a Grey Warden and he's a nice spirit, and then turns horrible in DA2. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in the D tier, just because I barely remember anything about him. He was not that memorable, because it's been a while since I played Awakening. Right, next, Leliana. I love Leliana. She is my warden's best friend, absolute best friend. And I think her Origins persona I much prefer over her Inquisition one. Just she's a bit more... she's quite lively and a bit dreamy. But she's also quite troubled by her past with Marjolaine. And it was really interesting to see her struggle with those two different sides of herself. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about Leliana, honestly. But she is in my top 3 favourite characters in Origins, and that's a high bar, so yeah. S tier. Fuck you, I hate you. Moving on. Meryl. I really liked Meryl. She's such a cinnamon roll. Even if she's a blood mage. But, yeah. I thought her voice acting was I mean, apparently she's in the Dalish Start in Origins, but I've never played that. I've only ever played Human Noble, so yeah, I wouldn't know. But her voice acting in DA2 was really, really great. Really fantastic. And yeah, it was, and her story in DA2 was really compelling. Just, she wanted so badly to restore her people's history, but in the end, that cost her everything. And it was really sad because she's such a mild, sweet personality. And to see her that contrast was really, really good. She and Fenrir, I think, were the best characters in DA2. So I'm gonna put Meryl in the A tier. Don't know who that is. Morrigan! I love Morrigan. She's such a sarcastic bitch. Literally, I take her almost everywhere in Origins, and she's just there, just being the absolute bitchiest possible, and it just cracks me up every time. Like, some guy offers you a deal, like, oh, I can use the life force of these slaves to give you more health, and she's like, oh, hell yeah, do that. And I'm just like, Morgan, you fucking bitch. So yeah, that's why I bring her everywhere in Origins, because she's just fucking hilarious and how bitchy she is. And she has a really interesting character arc in Origins, and then again in Inquisition. Origins where, well, it's kind of across both games really, where she is so hellbent on getting away from her mother and cutting all those ties, but not being able to. And it was so heartbreaking to see her story come full and hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. And seeing her go from this dark ritual as a means to an end to I really fucking love my son was like, it was so heartwarming and then so heartbreaking to see her story come full circle and her ending up as a servant of Flemeth once again. So yeah, I don't know if she'll make a return in future games. I mean, with the post-credit scene of Inquisition, I don't know what happened to Flemeth or what that will mean for Morrigan. That's something I kind of want to see them explore, honestly. So yeah, Morrigan, S tier. Fucking love ya, bitch. Nathaniel Howe is an insufferable prick. Literally. My warden had beef with him. And I didn't kill him just because I wanted to get all the companions in Awakening, but I kind of wanted to. He was so fucking annoying. Ogrin. Ogrin is a character I have very mixed opinions on. Because he's kind of funny in a really crude way throughout Origins and Awakening. But in Awakening, because he was like the main warrior in my party, I ended up taking him most places. And oh my god, he wore on me like you would not believe by the end. Just his constant, like, creepy misogyny, I was just there like, fuck you, dwarf. So I mean, it was kind of funny at first seeing him get all flirty with like other dwarves and stuff, and then but by the end it was just too much. So yeah, Ogrin is fine. I mean, I don't love him. And he's kind of a creep, so yeah. Sebastian! Fuck you! I fucking hate Sebastian. He is a little boring little prick. And literally, even by the end of DA2, I was just done with his bullshit. And then in Inquisition, when the War Table mission came up, where he was like, I'm gonna invade Kirkwall because Anders has friends there. And I'm just there like, oh my god, you little fucking... Ugh. Yeah. I hate Sebastian, if you can't tell. Moving on. Sarah. Again, a character I'm kind of mixed on. She can be pretty funny sometimes. And is generally a fun personality, but sometimes she just gets so petty and insufferable and then it gets in the way of your actual mission, and yeah. It's not good. I mean, I could see why some people might like her, but she's not one of my favourites personally. So, yeah. C tier for you. Shale. I fucking love Shale. She's so funny. Just her sass. Literally, the banters, her banters with Alistair when they're just sassing each other, bouncing off each other, it's so great. And just a whole really dry sense of humour and way of talking. Just like, it speaks. Yeah, I love Shale. A tier. Sigrun. I don't know. I feel like the Awakening companions are generally at a disadvantage because you have so little time to get to know them. And Sigrun, I thought, fell victim to that. She's interesting enough in that she's a member of the Legion of the Dead, but she doesn't really have that much else to her. And the fact that she's voiced by Morinth, like one of the evilest characters in Mass Effect, kind of dragged it down a bit. But she's not as awful as Nathaniel, so C tier, I guess. Solas. I do not like Solas. I want to punch him in the fucking face. But he's an interesting character, so he does not quite at the bottom. I mean, I know he's going to be the main villain of DA4 whenever that comes out in the next 55 years. And yeah, and he's an interesting character. I just want to fucking punch him. He's extremely hateable by the end. which is to the writing's credit, of course. Sten. Sten is okay. He's not brilliant. I mean, he's interesting enough, but he just doesn't tell you anything, really. At least not at first. And I just find him a bit odd, honestly. Though I have to say, it's a novelty in a BioWare game for you to go up to a character, say, tell me more about your people, and then just go, no. Yeah. I think Stern is pretty solidly in the B tier. He's not quite interesting enough to make the others, or likable enough to make the top tiers. But he's cool, I guess. Tellus, I was kind of weirded out by, honestly. Like, she had good chemistry with Hawk and the others, but the fact that she was a Kunari elf was kind of interesting. But at the same time, she was a little bit annoying at times, and again, didn't really have much depth to her other than that she was a Kunari elf. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in the D tier because I'm indifferent. Who are all these people? Varric. Varric is Varric. Nothing more needs to be said. Leliana. I did not like Leliana, really, for what little I saw of her. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Vivienne. Again, she just, I really didn't like the way she talks to you. Just, she always sounds so condescending with her just ending every sentence with "my dear." And I mean, I feel like the fact that she was an extremely pro-circle mage was an interesting idea on paper, just the execution was not fantastic. And her companion quest just felt so out of the blue and rushed that, yeah, I didn't didn't love Vivienne, honestly. She was not great. Win. I fucking love Win. Those two banters she has with Alistair, if you romance him, are just enough to make her one of my favourite characters in Origins. Yeah, and the fact that I feel like she's sort of a pro circle mage done right. In that she understands why she sort of says, oh, this is why we need the circle, because magic can be dangerous, and I know that because I've experienced it. I can't remember where I was going with this train of thought. But yeah, and she sort of comes into conflict with Morrigan quite a lot over it, which I think makes for quite a good character dynamic. Especially with how dismissive Morrigan is of her. And it's also really nice talking to Win and just getting advice, and just generally her being the mum of the group. Zevran Arenai. People are going to hate me for this. I don't really like Zevran that much, if I'm honest. He just... I mean, those types of characters like him and Isabella and people, I just... As an ace person, I have a really hard time connecting to them. And that is not to say that he is a bad character. He is a great character, but I just lack that personal connection to him that I have with the other characters like Alistair and Leliana and Win. And just the fact that he creepily flirts with you in the first conversation you have with him after he just tried to kill you, I just find really off-putting. And yeah, I mean, it's sort of... I mean, I know that if you do romance him, he sort of eventually gets a bit attached to you and learns what it is to really love someone like that, but I could never... yeah. It's just not for me, and I get why people love Zevran. He's a great character, make no mistake. I just don't like him very much. So, for that reason, I will put him in the B tier. And all the rest of these characters are just random DLC people or whatever. I think they're all from Origins DLC, actually. That's quite funny. Okay, well, yeah. Here you have it. This is my ranking of all the Dragon Age characters. The important ones, anyway. And yeah. That is it. That is the end of this tier list. I love these games so much. I mean, Origins especially, it's just, has a really special place for me. That made no sense. Origins is very special to me, okay? I love it. And it's a game that I think I'll be replaying again and again. Over the next while. DA2 I didn't love. I don't really see myself going back and replaying it anytime soon, if ever. Because it just got so repetitive and kind of dull, and its story was meh. And my game crashed so fucking much, you guys, like, would not believe. And that got really, really annoying over time. Inquisition was really good, I thought. I mean, it could get a little bit drawn out at times because of the open world exploration stuff they added. But its story was pretty solid, and yeah, its characters were great as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Dragon Age, people. And that is all I want to say. So yeah, drink your tea, people, and I will see you guys in whatever comes next.